From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Well, hello, fine people. It's great to have you here tuning in to the Badass Counseling Show podcast. Wherever you are tuning in from, we love having you here with us, whether it's South Africa, New Zealand, or France, or whether it's anywhere across the great country of Canada. We have also our wonderful listeners in Arkansas of the United States and up in Wisconsin, over across in Nevada. So many wonderful listeners who write into our show and ask to come on the show, but just tell us how the show has impacted them. And we're just proud to be a vehicle for your healing and your help, and a bit for your entertainment as well, I have no doubt. And I am joined in studio today. We are blessed again to have the full complement, the full team with us. I have Rob the Rocket next to me, as well as KC. Team, what say ye?
Sven, I was wondering if you knew how an extreme taker, or some would say a narcissist, would screw in a light bulb.
I don't know. Tell me.
He just holds it and the world rotates around it.
Oh, well played. I like that. And KC, what say ye?
I say hello.
And we say goodbye, say the Beatles. All right. Rob, tell us about Susu.
All right, Sven, good enough. Susu wrote in and said, the core of my journey is rooted in being a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, an experience that began as far back as I can remember and continued through my early teens, though I kept it a secret until I was about 18. The long-term emotional and psychological impact is what shapes my life today. I have some traumatic memory flashes, but much of that time remains foggy or lost. I want to be open about the profound struggles I face daily. The biggest battle is with myself. I am extremely cruel to myself. I allow no grace, and I have very little sense of self-worth. Outside of being a mom, I often feel a crippling lack of purpose. I also feel numb a lot of the time. It's genuinely hard to access my real feelings, and when they do surface, they are often unstable. This is all compounded by a deep, immediate guilt around any act of self-care. Even a minute makes me feel selfish, and social phobia makes it hard to connect. Over the past 5 years, trying to mask and fit in has become an exhausting effort. How does one begin to fight for self-acceptance when the trauma has stolen so much internal peace? How can I challenge the internal self-cruelty and emotional numbness resulting from long-term trauma in the hope of finding genuine self-grace and a purpose that feels my own?
Susu, thanks for coming on the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I want to start by asking you a very simple question. To the degree that you are able, tell us, please, if you would, what are you feeling right this moment? Do you have any feelings? And if so, what are you feeling? Just to check in.
I mean, when I think about how I feel currently, all I can really come up with is numb. I don't.
So right this moment,
yeah.
There's no anxiety. There's no fear. There's no.
Okay, there is anxiety.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
There's lots of anxiety.
And, all right, that's fair. Lots of anxiety. That's fair. And so in this moment right now, what would you say you're feeling most anxious about? Is it that you're going to say something stupid, or is it because, I don't know, I burned my toast this morning and I feel silly over that? What do you feel the most anxiety over right now?
Mostly that I'm going to make an ass of myself.
Okay.
That's my main worry usually.
Okay. Well, I tell you, I once read Miss Manners. There used to be a column in the newspaper called Miss Manners, and they said that if you're a good host, if you have a guest who drops a piece of silverware or breaks a glass, a good host will immediately break a glass themselves or drop a piece of silverware themselves so that your guest doesn't feel bad. So if you make an ass of yourself, I'll make a bigger ass of myself because I am so profoundly good at it. Okay. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I got you. Okay. All right. Good. So we're good. All right. So moving forward, knowing you have some anxiety and knowing, I'll be very honest with you, I have a little anxiety. I get someone coming onto my show knowing I have about 50 minutes to talk with someone who is a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, who is, how old are you, Susu?
I'm almost 38.
Almost 38. All right. Who has been living with this and beats the hell out of herself, extremely cruel to herself. And I get 55 minutes. It's just like, put the heat on me a bit. All right, Annie Sullivan, work your miracles. Here we go. It's like, how much can we really do in 50 minutes? So it's just like, all right. So we both got a little bit coming in. All right. Well, that raises a question then. What if you had to put it into one sentence or less? What do you think it is? So in other words, we're coming in with reasonable expectations, but just wanting to have a real conversation, just talking real with each other. All right. We're just talking. And so let me ask you, what do you think it really is in one sentence or less that you're most wanting out of life? What's most missing? What hurts the most? What is it you're most wanting that's most missing? In one sentence or less.
Sorry, I'm already getting emotional. I apologize.
Well, okay, stop. That's good.
Okay.
And when you say emotional, that means you're feeling something other than the anxiety you were feeling a minute ago. You have a new feeling. So you're not as emotionally numb as you say. So
Right.
this is glorious. I want to know what feeling you're feeling right now. It's a new feeling. It's not anxiety anymore. Name the feeling, Susu.
I don't even know.
Do your
I,
best. Take your time.
I think it might be sadness.
Okay. And what are you feeling sad over right now? Help me understand. Because you shifted right there. That's beautiful. Why are you feeling sad right now? When I ask you, what is it you're most wanting out of life? What's most missing? You shift into sadness. Talk to me.
I think it's when you said, what do I want most in life, that kind of triggered this. And it's hard for me to answer that because I feel that my life was taken away from me. I never had the opportunity to figure out who I am and what I want. And I'm trying to do that now. And it's overwhelming. I don't even know where to start.
All right. And so then your life was taken away from me and you want your life back.
I do. I really do. I want to be happy.
All right. And I want to be happy. I want my life back. I want to be happy. The most sort of basic of human wants. I mean, other than food, water, shelter, that whole thing. I want to be happy. Okay. And so then and that's not, I have to believe that's not something new. I have to imagine you've wanted that a long time. What have you done up until, 38-ish? What have you done to sort of accomplish that or try that hasn't worked? What has been your sort of general modus operandi up till now?
Normally I would pick a project or something to immerse myself in, like a house reno or something like that. And I think I just kind of go through life finding different distractions. So I don't have to kind of access what's underneath because
And
it's
and by underneath we mean feelings?
feelings. Yeah, I think I avoid them. Maybe it's not that I don't feel them. Maybe it's just that I avoid them.
Right. Okay. Avoid the feelings. And the reason, if you had to really pinpoint it, the reason I avoid the feelings is what in one sentence or less?
It's simple. It's scary.
Scary. And what's the scariest part of the notion of those feelings? I mean, come on, you were sexually abused as a child, began as far back as you can remember, continued to your early teens. What is this? Help someone who was not sexually abused as a child. Help me understand. What is the scariest part about those feelings?
The scary part for me is I'm scared there's going to be new memories, new flashes that come up that are worse than what I already know because I have so many gaps.
Mm.
So I'm scared that it's going to get worse.
And that makes total sense. And just so I'm clear, again, I've
Mhm.
not experienced what you've experienced.
Right.
And I'm willing to bet most of our listeners have not experienced what you have. And for that's a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you had that element on top of it. So I'm going to give you an option. I'm
Okay.
going to ask you a question and you don't have to fucking answer. You just say, nope, not going to answer that. Thank you very much. Go fuck yourself, Sven. And I won't be offended. We'll move on to something else. But I'm going to ask the question anyway. All right. You came on the show.
Good.
You know I ask hard questions.
Exactly.
All right.
That's why I'm here.
I sort of figured that. You don't come on to Badass Counseling for that. Hey, how are you today? Okay. All right. So the question is, of all of the memories that you have, that you know of, what is the single worst memory that you have?
It's wasn't even the actual abuse itself. It was it was one of the last times that I was abused, and he never spoke to me, but that time he did. And I always pretended to be asleep when this happened. And he spoke to me and he's told me, he's like, I know you're awake, stop pretending. And that was the scariest part because it's like he saw through everything. And why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he think that I was sleeping? But in my head, that made sense to me. So when he acknowledged the fact that he knew I wasn't sleeping, it's like my cover was blown.
And when your cover was blown, you're doing great. You're doing great. And again, you can abort at any point here. All right.
Okay.
When your cover was blown in that moment, you felt finish this
Exposed,
exposed. Give me another word. You're doing great. I felt exposed.
terrified.
Okay.
So, like someone's going to find out now, and I'm going to have to explain why I never said anything.
Okay. And so then, and so it felt far less safe. Like as long as I was silent and he didn't know that I was, awake and that I was conscious and so forth. As long as he thought I was sleeping, there was a
Yeah.
measure of safety in that. Help me understand.
I mean, you could say it's safety. It was because it was familiar.
Okay.
I knew what was going to happen. He would do what he needed to do, and then he would leave.
Uh-huh.
And I could go back to sleep, go on with my day, whatever.
Okay.
And exposing that truth for me was far more terrifying because it was something different, something that I'd have to face.
Mm.
And if I just didn't talk about it, I could pretend it didn't happen. It
Okay.
was easier.
And so then is the greatest part of the fear, I want to understand, help me if you will, and you don't
Mhm.
have to, is the greatest fear in that moment, is it that it's that he sees through me, I'm now exposed, and then you went on to say, now I may have to explain why I didn't say something sooner, which in all of that, for that little girl, is the scariest part? Well, you said it was the last time, so that must have been when you were 18.
So the abuse stopped in my early teens.
Okay.
I didn't tell anyone till I was 18.
Got it. Okay, so
Yeah,
early
yeah,
teens,
yeah.
and so which is the worst, the biggest of the fears, that now I may have to explain myself, or is it what was the worst part in that sort of, whether it was in that moment when he's talking and he sees through it, or what's the worst part?
Um, when you word it like that, the worst part is having to explain myself.
And why would
I thought
that?
I was going to get in trouble.
Oh, and having to explain myself. I guess so. I got to ask, and get in trouble. Explain myself to whom?
Well,
Who's raping you? I have to ask, who's raping you first? Is it your
it
father,
was my
brother, what,
stepdad.
stepdad?
Yeah.
And so you're not going to get in trouble from your stepdad. So I wouldn't think. So who, or maybe it was, but who did you fear getting in trouble from?
My mom, and I don't know why. It's she's always been very opinionated, I guess, about my life. So I was always really scared to talk to her. I told her all the surface level stuff. Like we've been close, but she is a very opinionated woman, and I thought she would be mad that I didn't say something before. Why didn't I stop it?
Wow. I'm going to bring in KC here for a moment. KC.
You were trying to survive it. So the idea that you felt it was your responsibility to stop it is just not true. It wasn't your responsibility to stop it. He in making you acknowledge that you were awake, that you knew what was happening. He stole from you your only defense to survive that, which was to separate your body and mind in that moment. You are taking my body, but I am not going to acknowledge that you're here. That was your way of trying to survive the attack. And I know this because I am a victim. Not of what you went through by any means. My father I didn't have a stepfather, but my father did not abuse me. I was raped and held hostage for 2 days. And one of the ways that I survived it was to separate my body from my mind. And that's what you were trying to do. And that was what this pig, this piece of shit, was trying to also take from you. He didn't want just your body. He wanted to horrify you. And so I'm so sorry for that.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. You're fine. Thank you for that, Casey.
Yes.
And that's an excellent point. And so isn't it fascinating that that little girl not only didn't feel safe, clearly, with her stepfather, but did not feel safe with her own mother?
Yeah.
That she was so terrified of her own mother that in that moment where she was exposed, to Casey's point, that she was exposed, that she didn't feel that she could go to her mother, and obviously didn't feel it at any point prior.
Yeah.
That her mother was not a refuge, a safe haven, but her mother was in fact, oh, well, that raises a question. And it is a terrible question. And you'll forgive me for asking, but I'm going to ask, and you don't have to answer it.
Yeah.
Which, for that early teenage girl, was worse? And I know, and this is an honest question that you do not have to answer, but which for that teenage girl was worse? Being raped by her stepfather, or the thought of going to her mother and being her mother being mad at her?
I was more scared of my mom. Yeah.
What are you feeling right now?
I'm shocked. I never really considered that before.
I'm going to do a check-in with my staff here right now.
Okay.
I want to ask, if you guys feel comfortable answering, what are you feeling honestly as you are capable of answering? What are you feeling right now towards her mother?
I mean, my overwhelming feelings are sadness for her.
Or the daughter, or Susu.
For Susu.
But towards the mother, I'll go then. I have to be very honest with you. I feel extraordinary hatred towards your mother right now.
That's understandable.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
That a little girl at any point, and it could have been a little boy, but a little girl didn't feel safe to go to her mother. In fact, if anything, she felt more terrified of her mother finding out. So she kept her own secret rather than going to her mother. Now, I think every parent listening to this show felt a shiver go up their spine upon hearing you say that.
I think so.
I think so.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm going to give you a moment to just catch your breath, and we're going to take a brief commercial break.
So I was telling a buddy of mine how he seems happier. He told me about the book that changed his life. So I bit. I went to the Badass Counseling website and downloaded There's a Hole in My Love Cup audiobook. I started listening to it on my commute home from work, and holy cow, it was a Louisville Slugger to the face. I literally sat in my car in the driveway night after night, listening through to the end of a chapter or doing the journaling exercises. My wife started to see changes. I started to change a lot. My default response stopped always being anger. Now I manage a team of salespeople, and I changed as a leader. I was listening more, not always just reacting. When their numbers started going up seemingly out of nowhere, I knew what the reason was. There's a Hole in My Love Cup is now required listening for any person on my sales team or working for me, and I gladly buy it for them. You gotta listen to this book.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
We are back with Susu. Susu, I want to continue the way we started our show, and I want to check in with you. Give me a feeling word. What are you feeling right now?
A little bit relieved, to be honest.
Wow.
What did you do?
No, I didn't do anything. It's what you did, young lady. That you had the courage to talk about the very thing I asked you, what do you normally do when you want to be happy? You said, I do projects. I do husrenus, which none of us understood. And I knew it meant house renovations because you talk funny. And then you said it's distractions. I said, distractions from what? You said from feelings. I avoid feelings. It's not, I said, why do you avoid feelings? You said, because they're scary. And then I said, what are you most scared of in the past? And you went down, you went down, you went down, you went down. I took you down, down, down. It's not what I did. You just held my hand and you let me lead you. And I said, you don't have to. At every point, you kept going. You had the courage to go down into your feelings. It's not what I did. It's what you did, young lady.
Thank you.
And you went down into the feelings. Well, no, thank you for trusting us, but thank you for trusting yourself. Thank yourself. And so the relief comes from two things here. And it's very important that everyone listening understand. It's not just the release of the feelings themselves.
Mm.
Another thing happened, and this is what I talk about in my book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. This is what we dwell on the show. It's the other piece, and that is those core beliefs we've been taught to believe about ourselves, but it's also those core beliefs we have believed about life, that so much of your belief system has focused on the very large truth that your stepfather is a pig, pig, and that is fact, and that the rapist was wrong, and he was disgusting, and he is indisputable. Fact.
Very much factual.
Factual. Indisputable. As real as the nose on the end of my face and the sun rises in the east. Fact. However, there is a second villain that was hiding in the shadows. And it's when I talk about the second parent often only has to be less bad than the first. It's like that old line, if you and I are in the woods and we see a bear, I don't have to outrun the bear. I just have to outrun you. I just have to be a little bit faster than you. The less bad parent, we don't see them. They just hide in the shadow of the ogre. Your mother, and what a relief, oddly enough, interesting language, a relief to see a new truth. And then the feelings associated with that, the shock. And I registered hatred. We haven't asked you what you register, and maybe it's still just shock, and I shouldn't say just, but because that's a massive new life revelation that holy shit, the scarier, more painful part for you, and your feelings are trump all of ours. They're bigger than you have the right to feel whatever you feel, and you say no. The bigger, scarier, more maddening part for you is mom. And so I want to check in with you, apart from the shock that, it's bigger, you're more scared of mom, or the worst is what mom did. What else are you feeling towards mom?
I think in the last couple of years, I've had a shift with my mother.
Understood. But now, in light of this,
Oh, right
because
now.
no, definitely now, because any shift you've had with your mother was not aware of this.
Mhm. That's true. Yes.
So I'm going to let you finish your sentence, but I want you to finish it in one sentence. What was the shift in one sentence? This new state that you've come to with your mother in one sentence. What was it prior to today?
Before today,
Yep.
it was just questioning
Questioning. Okay.
things.
And whereas before you weren't. Okay. So then you
Yeah.
come into today, and in light of this new revelation, that I was more afraid of mom than I was of him. And what she did, and living in fear of my mom, is really for you. It sounds like worse than whatever. But the
Yeah.
point is that she committed this crime. And so what are you feeling towards mom now?
Disappointment. Because being a mom myself, you sense things,
You do, don't you?
Like, and I know she was depressed and she had her own things, but you sense things.
Right.
I'm depressed. I sense things like,
You can't not. You can't
Yeah.
not sense it.
exactly.
If do you have a daughter or son? What do you have?
I have two daughters.
Two daughters. If, let's just say, your oldest girl got bullied at school,
Mhm.
would you know it the second she walked in the door?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Within seconds. Yeah.
Within seconds.
Yeah.
So then,
What the hell happened with her?
okay. So let me ask you this. Again, okay, back into the hard questions. Hard question. And again, you can abort at any point. What was the frequency from when the sexual abuse started to when you turned 13? What was the relative approximate frequency of the sexual abuse happening?
I could probably average it out to once a month.
One time per month. Okay. And was it basically always at night and always in your room? Okay.
Usually, there the odd time during the day there would be
Okay.
something if we were alone, but
and at night,
mostly at night.
and was your mother in the house?
In my younger years, yes. In
Early
my
In your early
like
teen years, in
11,
preteen years?
yeah, then she was out of the house for work.
She worked nights?
No, she was a truck driver.
Got it. Okay,
Long
so
home.
when you were young, mom was home. Okay, and this was taking place in your room. And just to give us a very brief understanding of the structure of the home that you lived in, where was your bedroom relative to mom's bedroom?
I mean, I moved a lot, so that's but always close.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did your stepdad and your mom sleep in the same bedroom?
Yes.
And roughly, if you could, maybe you can't, what time of evening or night would the sexual abuse occur? 10 o'clock, 1 a.m., 4 in the morning, 7 a.m., approximately?
I probably like 1, 2-ish.
Okay, 1 to 2 a.m.
Yeah.
All right. And where I'm going with this is I'm wondering, what is the likelihood that your mother knew?
Put the facts down. How could she not?
Thank you. How old were you when your stepfather came into your life?
2 or 3.
2 or 3 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, are you married?
I am married.
Father
yes.
of the daughters?
No.
Stepfather.
Stepfather, yeah.
When you first brought the stepfather into your daughter's life,
Mhm.
is it reasonable to assume, and now you have an unusual past, of course, but did you have a wary eye on the man in your life?
No.
Okay.
I mean, okay, that's a lie. At the beginning, yes,
Thank you.
probably
Thank
more
you.
than I normally would. Yeah.
Fair. And well, let me ask you this question. If he were getting out of bed at 1 or 2 in the morning, would you know?
Yeah, I'd be following him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How could
So,
she not know?
so from your perspective, from where you sit as the one person, every person listening to your story might have their own thoughts on it, but in the end, you were the only one that was there. So I don't give a shit what anybody else says, except I think we're all pretty much in agreement that we're all sort of saying, oh, what the actual fuck?
Yeah.
So what percent would you say is the likelihood that mom knew? If we're looking at things like looking at your own child and your own child showing indicators that you would know if somebody stole your daughter's sandwich out of her sack lunch at school, and that your mom's boyfriend, if he's living there before they got married or afterwards, that he's getting out of bed in the middle of the night, that the daughter's acting differently, all these things, what would you say is the percent likelihood that your mom knew?
I mean, it's got to be up there, 80, 90,
Pick a-
100%. Like, it's got to be.
Pick a number.
87%.
87%. 87%. I'm going to ask you an extraordinarily fucked up question.
Okay.
But I'm asking, it's an honest question that only you can answer. All right? It's an honest question.
All right.
And you can answer however you want. You have the third option of just throwing the question out.
Okay.
Who commits the greater crime? The robber who beats up the old woman on the street in New York, punches her, beats her up, and steals her purse? Or the cop 30 feet away, watching the crime occur, watching the whole thing and not lifting a finger? Who commits the greater crime?
The cop.
In that case, the cop. In the case of your mother, in 87% likelihood, knowing it was happening for what sounds like 10 years, from age 3 to, let's say, roughly age 13, for 10 years, a pig going in and raping her daughter on average once a month. Is the pig committing the greater crime and this is from the victim, and everybody else can go fuck a duck in their opinions. I'm asking the victim herself, which means your opinion is the only one that reigns supreme in this one case.
Mm-hmm.
Who for you has committed the greater crime, the pig or the cop who fucking knew and it was her daughter from her loins? Who for you has committed the greater crime?
My mom. Oh my God. It not validates, but it just all the things I've been questioning about our relationship and things like that. It just, this is the cherry on top, Lily.
Well, in a way, this is the entire Sunday that the cherry sits on top of. This is the tulip glass that the whole Sunday sits in. This is the entire thing. Mom fucking knew.
She must have known. How could she not know?
How could she not? Come on. For years, even in years, once a month on average, which means at times it was more. So we're saying on average let's say 12 to 20 times a year for 10 years. So it's happened, let's say 150 to 200-ish times, and not once? You're saying in 200 times it never once fucking an alarm bell went across, it went off in her head? Not once did shit register and how her daughter is carrying herself? Not one. What? And a gruesome question, and please forgive me. Please forgive me, and you do not have to answer this. Was there penetration?
In the later years, yes.
So there would have been blood, is there correct?
Yes.
Who did the laundry in your house?
My mom. She would have seen something.
She would have seen blood.
Yeah.
And this is a question coming from a man, so this is out of ignorance, but I come with respect.
Yes.
I come with respect.
I know.
Is the bleeding that would have happened from the this insertion and the tearing, would it have been different from when the bleeding that would have happened on your sheets and on your clothing from when you had your first period?
They overlap when I started my first period and when
But would a mother have noticed a difference?
maybe not.
Okay.
I do have to say that. Maybe not.
Okay. And when but she would have noticed blood.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, go ahead, Casey, wanting to say something.
Well, I was just going to ask a question because, I also raised two daughters and I had to bring my daughters yearly for doctor visits. And I think you're about the age of my oldest daughter, and they check for stuff like that. They check for abuse and things like that. So I'm just wondering if your mom brought you for regular doctor visits, and if
I don't remember going for regular doctor's visits. There was like, oh, she's got a cold or she's got an ear infection. We got to go to the doctor. But I don't really remember having a family doctor or anything like that. No.
And that could have been avoided. I mean, your mom could have potentially deliberately been avoiding any sort of interactions with a gynecologist or potentially even a family doctor, potentially for that very reason.
Yeah.
Because the doctor would have been, of course, a mandatory reporter.
Exactly. They would have to say something. So,
yeah. And of course, if there had been, and my guests can't see it, but right now, Susu is registering. She's sort of sitting back with her hands on her head, sort of a mind-blown look. What's going on inside of you right now, Susu?
coming to terms with the fact that my mom is either crazy or she knew. And it's a bit of a hard pill to swallow because you grow up in the way that I did, and your instinct is to blame the abuser. But you're making me think of different things that I've never thought about.
Why do you think you haven't? And it's okay that you haven't. That's fine. But why do you think you haven't?
Probably because I was scared of what would come from it.
And what do you most fear, or what do you think you have most feared would come from it?
This exact moment. This realization that my mom knew, and she either didn't want to believe it or
But why would you fear this? What's the fear in seeing this? What is it about this? Because you said earlier, I fear new memories worse than even what I know. Well, let's say this was it. Why would you fear this even more?
because it's new.
But
It's a new
fair,
thing.
it's new, fair. But what is it about this that might be even more painful?
That my mom was a shitty mom.
Right. No. Oh, for sure. And beyond shitty mom, that she was a monster.
Yeah.
That she sent her little lamb to slaughter knowingly.
Ugh. When she became a truck driver, she was gone like 2 weeks at a time.
So then it's
How
not
would
only
she?
that she knew it was going on, and she chooses to leave the lamb completely defenseless for 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah. Who does that?
Well, then you almost wonder, and this is to take it to new levels of sick.
Mm.
Was she doing it to punish you? Did she somehow see you as a threat? Did she somehow see you as his lover? And I've seen this, and the only reason I'm raising this is because I've seen this, where the parent becomes jealous. And I'm not saying it is this, I'm just raising it as a possibility. It's like, fuck you, little girl, or I want to get away with it because it hurts too much to think that my husband wants my daughter more than he wants me.
Right. And that's not once crossed my mind.
All right, Casey, you
That's
wanted to
crazy.
say something?
I was going to ask you if your mom has given any indication in the years that followed that she knows.
No, she avoids the topic like the plague.
No shit, I wonder why.
No shit.
Tell us a little bit more about that. Tell us about how you've brought it up and maybe one or two ways that she avoids it.
I mean, there was I don't know if I can say like a police investigation, things like that, that happened just in the last couple of years.
Why?
Not on my mom, sorry.
Oh,
I tried to press charges to
against
my
him.
abuser. Yeah. It
Gotcha.
didn't go through or whatever, but
And
my
your
mom,
mom during that
yeah,
acted how?
very standoffish, very like, don't approach it with me. I know she told hardly anything to the cops because she didn't know
Oh,
anything.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. I mean, come on. If one of your daughters said that she had been, X, Y, or Z, sexually abused, raped,
Mm.
how would you engage?
I would be giving them everything. I'd
Of
be
course.
livid.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And mom's like, nope, don't know anything. Nothing to see here, folks. Keep moving. Move along. Nothing to see here. I don't know anything about that. Over 150, potentially as many as 200 times or more, it happened, roughly speaking.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Nah, don't know anything about it. Wow, I got nothing to offer." So then, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say that makes sense why I always kind of grew up thinking no one would believe me. This sounds so out there that no one's gonna believe me.
And it's not that she wouldn't believe you, it's that mom didn't want it exposed. Problem is,
Yeah.
mom did believe you. Mom
Yeah.
knew. And so then I want to ask you a couple of things. We got to ask this question. You yourself said that the cop commits the greater crime from where you sit. And everyone might have a different opinion on it, but it doesn't matter. Because in this case, in the case of the victim, mom has committed the greater crime for you personally. And that's completely understandable. All right? All right. And so then my question to you is, not that it matters, and there's no defense of mom's actions, period. And end of story, full stop. But I am curious, if you were to speculate, you know your mom as well as anyone, what would you guess was the motivation or the fear driving mom's behavior, causing her to send her little lamb to slaughter, to allow her little girl to be raped by her husband? What would you guess was driving her behavior? Was it fear of being alone? Was it he provided financially and she didn't want to have to, or she couldn't, quote unquote, couldn't provide financially, or she just hated you? Or what was it that drove her to do this? If you were to speculate, you know her as well as anyone. What would you guess?
Is financial for sure. She was never happy with him. She was always very depressed. But it was financial. She worked just jobs here and there, kind of at a deli here and whatnot. That's why she got into truck driving,
Got it.
because she wanted to make the money to leave.
Which she did, and further left you alone
did.
with their rapist. And so then the pedophile, actually. And so then she chose money. She chose to sacrifice her daughter to pedophilia.
Yeah.
She sold her child to pedophilia fundamentally
Yeah.
for money,
For money.
for her
Yeah.
own financial safety.
Yeah.
Now, I think at this point, there is literally zero defense of her actions. Nobody could concoct a story saying, oh, maybe she was being abused too. No. That you're allowing your child to be the victim of pedophilia. Not just allowing, you are facilitating it. You're turning the cheek hundreds of times over the course of 10 years so that you can have financial safety. I'm sorry, go live in the poorhouse. You're going to get far better treatment.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I would never put my daughters in that.
Of course you wouldn't. That you don't even need to say that. Of course you wouldn't. That goes without
That's
saying.
a given, right? That should be a given.
Right. I mean, that's not even baseline parenting. That's just like, it's not even on the tape. Right. So then what's fascinating, though, is when you were reasoning it out earlier, you said, well, let me ask you this. We know that your mom, you've mentioned a couple times that your mom was depressed, is depressed, whatever. But do you have any, to use your word, do you have any, has your mom exhibited that she's crazy, to use your word?
No.
Oh. She's not. Okay. So, and so there's nothing to get yet. So earlier you said, well, either she's crazy or she knew. And you just said, no, she's not crazy.
You're using my words against me.
Oh, I'm using your words in your favor. I'm not using them against you. I'm using them against
true.
her.
Yes. Yeah, no, she knew.
Welcome to the badass counselor. By the way,
Exactly.
That's right.
His secret weapon.
And just for the record, I am here to defend the child and to defend the woman that is you. And I am inside of you right now with you, and we're both got our swords in our hands, and we are battling the dragons that have been inside of you. I'm here to defend you. I'm using your words to help you slay the motherfucking dragon that has been fucking eating at you from inside. No, I'm here.
I needed to talk to you. Thank you.
And neither one of us saw this shit show coming today.
No.
And so I want to ask you. There was a question I wanted to ask you much earlier in the show today, and it was that your fear that you go for all these distractions to avoid the feelings. And I said, what is it about the feelings? You said they're scary, and I said, what? And you said that what are you most scared of? And you said that there'll be new memories worse than the ones I know. And I wanted to ask you back then, which is worse for you? Is it the memories themselves, or is it the feelings attached to the memories that you think you've been scared of most? Have you been afraid of finding some new memory or experiencing some new feeling attached to a memory?
It's the feeling, for sure.
Sure.
The memories, to me at this point, they just are what they are, but it's what they bring up.
And what's fascinating then about this sequence that we've just gone through of really diving down is that we've found some new memories, but we've rearranged the puzzle pieces, and we've found new puzzle pieces. A couple of them had fallen under the sofa. And we pulled out these puzzle pieces, and it's this grand, holy shit. Mom frickin' knew.
It's the missing piece.
And we're really some missing pieces, and we're putting it all together, or the pieces that were always just sitting there, but we didn't know what that was. And you said you'd been questioning in the last few years, and now these puzzle pieces, it's all beginning to fit together. Yeah. And the thing is that there was never anything wrong with that child. You were a wonderful little girl. And the very person on earth whose job, one of two, mother and your father, and we haven't even touched on your biological father. Right. But the two people sworn to protect you on God's green earth not only failed, your mom didn't fail at her job. She didn't even try. Yeah. In fact, she literally did the exact opposite of trying. She tried to get you hurt. She tried to make sure you got sexually abused so that she could have money. She sent you, to use the vernacular, she hoarded her child out so that she could have financial security.
That's horrible.
Oh, it's disgusting. It's beyond horrible. It's all of the adjectives rolled into one. It is the worst of everything. Every male listening to this show wants to kill pedophiles. Every female, every mother, every non-mother. This is, and I am in no way endorsing violence or killing or anything like that. Okay, but this is the worst of the worst.
And I felt like I was almost making things up at parts of my life because it is such an extravagant story. And I remember talking to my husband, just like, is this crazy? Like, does this actually sound crazy? Because to me, it feels like nothing. But like, you just saying that this is a horrible thing really validates that for me. Thank you.
Absolutely. And you need to know that you are not alone, that victims of sexual abuse, victims of physical abuse, of domestic violence, victims of pedophilia, this is a very, 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 very normal feeling and thought, am I crazy? Did I make this up? Am I wrong? That is so normal. You are not wrong. Your memories are valid. The abuser and the cop it was the cops pushing you to the abuser, that they want you to believe it didn't happen. Why? To keep themselves safe.
Yeah, like I that's the biggest thing right now is why. Why would she do that?
Well, you've already answered the question.
Well, yeah, for financial
For
gain.
money.
Yeah.
For money.
Ugh.
And so the biggest thing that you need to do in your work of self-healing is begin the process of beginning to get out of the vault all of the new feelings that are not, they've been there the whole time, dormant, but you have to begin to get out the feelings in journaling and writing letters you don't send, particularly in the field of hatred,
I think I need to,
loathing. Yes, towards your mother, that you do not send, towards the rapist, and then there are going to be plenty more. But if you truly want to set yourself free, if you truly want to be happy, you can't be distracting anymore. You have to go in with the courage that you have gone in today. And even if you take it in small doses, you microdose this shit, and go in small doses. And the more you do a little bit and a little bit, then you're going to be able to do a little more and a little more and a little more and a little more, and mediums, and then larges. And why? Because you've had a breakthrough today. And why? Because you want to be happy. And why? Because it's like because you're beginning to see the pieces come together, but you got to be willing to let these feelings out. You have to understand one thing. And that is that today you took my hand when we walked into the cave. And in my book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup, I quote Joseph Campbell, who has this quote, and it says, "The cave you most fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." And you took my hand today, and you walked into the cave you've been most afraid to enter your whole life for obvious reasons. But what's fascinating is, well, why would you be afraid to enter this cave? And the reason is because deep in this cave, there are dragons. And those are fire-breathing, the scariest dragons of your life. And those dragons are your core beliefs that you've been taught to believe about yourself, those things that, of how disgusting you are and how bad you are and how unworthy of love and all these things. And the dragons are mother, they're labeled mother, stepdad, and dad. And those dragons in the cave that you've been most afraid of, you took my hand today and we went in and we've been slaying some motherfucking dragons together, except you've been doing it. I've just been the one whispering in your ear. And but you were the one that had the courage. But the question you have to ask yourself is, why are there dragons in a cave? There are dragons in a cave because the dragons are guarding a pile of gold.
The big secret.
Well, the gold sure is the big secret, but the gold is you, the authentic you, the real you, and the secrets and the truths. And they're terrified of you because you know all the truths, but the gold is your real self. They don't want you to have your real self. They don't want you to expose the truths and then because the truth slays them, even if it's just exposing the truth to yourself and finally admitting I'm not crazy and they're not crazy. They knew and I know, and this is bullshit. There was never anything wrong with me. And slaying the dragons because the gold is your authentic self. And you finally realizing I was good and I am good. And I have every right to rest. And I have every right to buy myself flowers. And I enjoy going and walking in the park, and it makes me feel good to take time for myself or to buy myself a vacation because I am good and I always have been. So I want to check in one last time and I want to ask you, what's going on inside of you? Where are you at? What are you feeling?
I'm nervous about going forward. I bought your book a year ago and I haven't had the courage.
It's okay.
To do it. I freaked out, closed it.
Yeah, it'll read completely different now. Now you're going to be able to do it. I feel like
it's going to, yeah.
Yeah, you'll definitely be able to do it now. Go ahead, keep going. And so what are you feeling? What else are you feeling? Nervous? What else are you feeling?
I'm also excited for myself because I feel that I've kind of expose something that wasn't there. And I think part of me always knew it was
Of
there,
course.
but it's like it's all out there now.
Yep. Yep.
So that's interesting for me. I've been on a mental health journey for a while now, and I'm excited to go down this new chapter too.
So nervous, excited, and give me one more feeling word. If there's one more feeling inside of you, maybe there isn't. That's okay.
Nauseous.
And what's the most nauseating part about this whole thing, or where you're at right now?
The amount of work that I know I need to do.
Fair. And I'm going to tell you something, though. I'm going to tell you something.
Okay.
It is big, and it is scary, and it is hard, and it is ugly. But the one thing, the myth that you have to dispel, and that's this: it doesn't have to take a long time. That the
Okay.
more you are willing to go deep and continue to go deep, the faster it goes. And I'm not lying. This is not a lifetime. Healing is a lifetime journey is bullshit. This does not have to take a long time. You see how much ground we covered just today in 50 minutes. You covered so much ground because you weren't afraid. And even if you were afraid, you kept pushing. And I pushed you a bit, and I pushed you a bit, and you went down there. So it doesn't have to take a long time. Just keep pushing yourself to go a little deeper, 1% more each day or each week, or 5% more, and it'll go faster. Trust me, but you got to have the courage to push yourself a little more, a little more.
Gotta have that little bit of willpower almost.
But now you have the incentive. You've seen the results. You've felt the relief. You feel the excitement, and it's just like, I can do this. KC.
When you look back on this, after you've healed yourself, you're going to realize that you've been doing way more work to hold this down and to keep this inside than the work to just get it out. It is so much easier once you're able to face it to get it out than to keep it in.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get to that point.
You are at the point now where it's just like, because you saw it today, it's like, God, what a relief to get it out. Because we spend, to your point, great point, Casey, we just spend so much life energy, and it's draining and it's life sucking. And so kudos to you. Any final thoughts from the team?
I'm just astounded at the fact that I think what you really unlocked today, and I could be wrong, Sven is the professional, but your biggest fear coming into this today was that your mom, who is so judgmental, would find out. And I think it's sort of freeing to you to know that you should not fear her judgment. She is the one that should fear your judgment.
She does.
Because you hold all the power right now.
That's right.
What you have to really think about, and I would do some work on yourself before you make this decision, is if you want to have a relationship with your mother going forward. And if you do, I think it's mandatory that she has to talk about this.
I agree fully.
And I need to say, you don't ever have to have a relationship with her. In fact, you to Casey's point, you need to do all your healing work and so on and so forth. And quite frankly, the other question you would have to ask yourself before you ever had any sort of relationship, you don't ever have to, you need to know this, you don't ever have to confront her in order for you to heal. Ever.
Right.
You don't need anything from her in order for you to heal. So many people think they do. You don't. But furthermore, before you ever were to, and that would be, even if you did have a relationship with her at some point down the road, the question you would really need to ask yourself is, do I want to have a relationship with someone who not only sold me into pedophilia, literally sold for money, but who for 25 years after hid it and did nothing to atone for it. She has no interest in atonement. And if she ever does, it would only be because you pushed her to it. So you are dealing with a coward. You are dealing with someone who will protect herself at the expense of a child, at the expense of her own child. So you really, if you want to have a relationship, hey, I won't judge you, but you really got to ask yourself, why would I want to have a relationship with someone not just of low character, but really of the lowest of low character? Why? Are you wanting her confirmation of your worth from this person? What could this person possibly have? And I wouldn't judge you for it, but you really got to ask yourself, what could this person possibly have that you want? I do hope you will stay in touch with the show, because I want to kick your ass to do this fucking work, because I want you to heal, because you ain't done shit wrong, young lady. I love you. I do. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
You are so charming and just such an open book. Wow. KC.
I just want to say that I think you're so brave for coming on the show, and that I really think that you could get a lot out of like peer group counseling. I know that the Canadian Mental Health Association has like peer groups and survivors of sexual abuse. And we also have a group counseling. It's called Community Plus.
Yes.
And there, you get, more time with Sven and smaller groups and things like that. So I would definitely consider group counseling for you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on this show. I appreciate it, Susu.
Thank you.
You bet. On behalf of the team, we all say, and our listeners around the world, we all say a hearty thank you to Susu for her openness and her trust. And we love her, and I love you. And so on behalf of my team, to everyone around the world, thank you so much. Have a kick-ass day. Slay your demons.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by two-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.